Friday's practice. There were false starts. It was a bit ugly, so it's a big sigh of relief. There's a new system. Caleb likes to freelance. His coach does not necessarily want that from his quarterback. So last night, Caleb Williams actually looked a little bit like Jared Goff. He quarterbacked like Jared Goff. He dirted the ball on screens. He got rid of and out of trouble. No negative plays. When he had a guy open, he hit him. Now, we know he's not Jared Goff. I honestly feel like Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, and you'll see this sometimes where you'll see a crazy talented artist marries an accountant. And it's not ever perfect. That doesn't mean it can't work. I mean, Andy Reid is a creative. Mahomes is a creative. That's perfect. I think Sean Payton feels like Bo Nix can run my play, but he can also run on his own. That feels perfect. Ben Johnson, I feel he's got a little bit of Kyle Shanahan. Run my play. And Kyle Shanahan's great. But you're going to have to let Caleb breathe. So to me, this whole relationship is about, because we know that Ben Johnson is going to win the first several arguments in this. Ben Johnson's a new coach. It's not a rich ownership group. They're not flushing him out. Caleb struggled his first year. So Ben comes in with leverage. But offensive coaches, and Andy Reid would tell you this, when you get somebody as gifted as Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen and Caleb Williams with that kind of horsepower, with that kind of firepower, it is your job as a coach to figure out how to maximize all that amazing clay. All you need, because I think Caleb's got a little Brett Favre, all you need is for that player, Mahomes, Lamar, Josh Allen, Brett Favre, to be amenable to throwing on time and on schedule and avoiding negative plays. I don't care how gifted you are. Josh Allen's not great if he's not on time, he's not on schedule, and there's negative plays. Last year, Caleb was none of those consistently. So you don't have to be a perfect fit with Ben Johnson. But nobody succeeds in this league running around. It's not high school or college. Defensive ends here run 4.55s. They can catch you, and they'll punish you, and they'll lean on you and sit on you and drive you into the ground, whether it's legal or not, and you won't play long. Go ask Lamar Jackson, who suddenly in year 2 and 3 put on weight. Go ask Michael Vick, who started staying in the pocket. I think Caleb Williams' comp, when I watch him, is a little Brett Favre. You got to let him be a little bit of a gunslinger. You got to let him be himself. But Brett Favre mostly played on time, played on schedule. He threw a lot of bad picks. Favre threw a lot of bad picks. You could get away with that in Favre's era. I think offensive coaching is smarter. I think turnovers are more punitive. So I think this is a marriage stylistically that is not perfect. But I know Caleb. I like Caleb. I think he's coachable. But it may never be. It may never be Stafford and McVay.
Okay. There is so much to unpack here for so many different reasons. Colin's saying here that he knows Caleb and that he thinks that he's coachable. But then last week, they had a whole segment where he listed all these players who were clearly not coachable, like Carmelo Anthony and James Harden, and was like, some things can't be changed. He's like, no one, who's to say that what Caleb needs to improve and grow on is actually going to happen? Just because you're talented doesn't mean that you're gonna, be great. And it was, and my whole thing was like, wait a second, those are very specific types of players that refuse to want to evolve and grow and change and be coached. And now we're saying that Caleb Williams is coachable. So it's just, man. And trying to define who Caleb Williams is right now is kind of insane to me. That he's Brett Favre, that he's this, that he's that. We don't know who Caleb Williams is. We saw what he looked like in college and high school. Congrats. And then year 1 in Chicago was an absolute disaster. That drive that we saw in preseason was better than anything we saw all year long. And here's the thing. We don't know what Caleb looks like because that is a scripted drive. Okay, that entire team, the entire coach staff, everybody was on the same page for Caleb Williams' drives, for his plays in that preseason game, right? To really figure out how this is all going to work and how this is all going to evolve, we need to see Caleb Williams in the third quarter, 7 minutes to go. The fourth quarter, the start of the fourth quarter. Like, you know, the first few drives or so, you know, everyone is going to be on the same page, and that is where a Ben Johnson is going to shine. Ben Johnson's scripted plays are just going to be awesome. Awesome, 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 especially when everyone is going to know what they're running, what they need to do, and you are going to be able to play within rhythm, on time, minimal hiccups. Even when there are hiccups, everything's kind of embedded into this script here. It's just like everyone kind of just understands what the play is. You know, what and I don't mean like the actual play. I mean like the play in terms of like, what's the I can't think of a good way to put it, but more of the expression of like, hey, what's the play here, right? Like, I mean it in that way, not like an actual X's and O play. And so like I said, that's where Ben Johnson's going to just absolutely just shine, right? All these really great offensive head coaches out the gate, scripted plays, just like they're masterminds, honestly, truly. And we saw that on full display. It's so perfect because Greg Cosell, I did a clip about this before, that like he really kind of talked about how these great offensive coaches and, you know, and the Ben Johnsons, that they're so great at just, you know, clearly defining the routes and the progressions and you know, where to go with the ball. And you saw that on full display with Ben Johnson and with Caleb. You know, he did throw the ball on the ground because he did not like what he saw. He was very smart. He was very composed. So you're seeing this work on both sides, which is so important. But we only got to see the snippets of that from Caleb Williams because of the structure of how, you know, how he was played in this game. That's why I'm saying it's like we really got to see him second quarter, third quarter, and beyond, right? That's what we need to see from Caleb, and that's what I'm excited to see from Caleb. But this is still very much going to be a work in progress. We still have no idea the type of player that Caleb Williams is going to become. Saying that he's Brett Favre, saying that he's this, saying that he's that, he's, you know, that he's like Jared Goff, like it's just like, you know, like last week, people were saying, see, he's not good. He's not going to be able to grow. He's not going to be able to mature. There's problems. I don't know. He likes the backup quarterback better than he likes Caleb Williams. Oh, no. Jared Goff, there's no excuses. Jared Goff, when he was with Ben Johnson, he was great from the jump. It took him a minute, and boom, there he goes. And now we're like, whoa, look at this, Caleb Williams. He's Brett Favre. He's looking great. The Chicago Bears are back, baby. MVP. They're going to win the Super Bowl. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And it's just like, we got to just have some patience, man. We just got to have some patience and just let this unfold, you know? A lot of players look great that aren't great in preseason, and a lot of players look bad in preseason that aren't bad, you know? All I wanted to see from Caleb was see him look comfortable, confident, and decisive. And that is exactly what he looked like. Comfortable, confident, and decisive. And he looked like he was able to run what Ben Johnson wanted to do. Again, at least the scripted version of it, beautifully, flawlessly, textbook. He executed the offense exactly as he needed to. And that's great. But we need to see that happen again and again and again. And then we need to see when things are less than ideal, right? When Ben Johnson is more shooting from the hip and seeing what happens and seeing how a Caleb Williams can dance with the Ben Johnson run my play and the, hey, I you know, we got to go a little off script here. It's going to be interesting to see. Ben Johnson might not really want a lot of off script stuff, or he does. Like we just don't know how this is all going to mesh together right now. Which is what makes it exciting to find out, which is why I have no desire. I'm confident it's going to be successful. I'm confident it's going to be really good, but like, I just have no desire to try to put Caleb or Ben Johnson, and you know, for that matter, in this box, right? Saying, oh, it's by week 3, he better look like Jared Goff, or, oh, he's got some Brett Favre, he's got to do this. And Caleb likes to do that, and Caleb likes it. I don't even think Caleb knows, quite frankly. I really don't. I mean, there's so much development that's going to happen this year with Ben Johnson. Let's just see how he settles in. I actually love one of Dak Prescott's quotes from a couple years ago when Mike McCarthy kind of took over, and I thought it was very authentic. He was pretty much saying the way how Mike McCarthy was coaching him and telling him to kind of, run the offense. He was just like, wow, he's like, I've never run it in this way before. He's like, I don't know how any quarterback does it without doing this. And it was like, it was a shift in how he, as essentially how he just executes the play and how he kind of gets in rhythm. And it was just like, it was so, Dak Prescott, and this was an authentic quote, like, he found comfort in what Mike McCarthy was creating for him. And it was just kind of like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe I was doing it any other way prior to this. Like, I didn't know this is what this looked like. And players get that experience all the time when you're learning new skill sets, learning new tools, learning just a different way to do something that you've already maybe even done a million times. There's a great snapshot of a Daniel Jones throwing where, earlier in his career, and I know Daniel Jones isn't the best quarterback in the NFL, but where his arm's like this, then it's more now farther away from his body. Like, players are always learning different things. Sam Darnold, the way how he throws is vastly different than how he was when he first entered the league. And it's just, you learn, you grow, evolve. So trying to put a certain player and even his style of play, in a box right now, it just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. But all in all, so I thought it was a really positive outing for Caleb Williams. Don't even care what the box score says, but don't even care what the score says, especially. It's preseason, but very successful. Exactly what I would want to see. Definitely already seeing the growth and the progress, but still far cry from trying to be like, all right, he's a ride. This is great. They're going to hit the ground running. Go, 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 go. It's like, we still got to chill, right? It was just one opening drive. I think, did he end up playing 2 drives? I forget already. I just ripped through where for every single play for Caleb Williams and didn't care much about anything else. I forget if it was just the 1 touchdown drive or if he then got the ball for the second drive again. I honestly forget at this point. Yeah, all in all, really successful. So I'm happy that he was able to get off on a good foot. And I wonder if we'll play the next preseason game, or if we'll just leave it at that and be like, okay, good. We landed this plane a little bit. Now we're just getting into the regular season. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams' first outing together in public? They're getting shipped. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. It's whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.